I saw this. A few people have sent it in, and then, remarkably, you tweeted about it as well. Apparently, Chris Jericho, once again, has some comments, this time not about you and how irrelevant you are, which he feels the need to scream to everybody. But this time, apparently, he's upset with people who have criticized his fall into what he insists were not crash pads on AEW Dynamite.
No, it was shark-infested waters underneath that cardboard and a crash pad. It was shark-infested waters. And then there was cockroaches below that, and then a layer of alligators, and then barbed wire. All of that was it was a dangerous, death-defying leap. It was better than the flying Walendas. It was better than the guy who walked the tightrope across Niagara Falls. Niagara Falls! Slowly I turned, step by step, inch by inch I crept. That's another routine. It was very dangerous, Brian, is what he did. And when people minimize it and make fun of it, then he naturally loses his shit and starts going after him on Twitter. And apparently, your friend and mine, Shotzi Blackheart, who we never watch because she comes out in a tank with green hair and we don't know what the gimmick is, but she tweeted something that made a little mockery of the bump, and he responded in quite hostile fashion, suggesting that these WWE chicks, that's a quote, these WWE chicks that are knocking my bump are going to be asking me for a job in 6 months, and I'm going to be remembering this. So he's going to blackball this girl because she made fun of his little poof bump on the crash pad like everybody else did. And isn't that sexist? Are we supposed to talk about them like chicks these days? He's a rock and roll star, so he's
not a rock and roll star. Give me a break.
Well, in his mind he is. So that's why he uses all you little chickies, all the little kids and kidettes out there
asking us for a job, anyways, and I'll remember that. Fuck you. If Tony wants her, Tony will sign her. What are you gonna do? Rip her to Tony? He's been watching her. He sees what she could do.
Hey, he's gonna put the bad mouth to Shotzi.
Your time is kind of running out. Just behave yourself.
But he's so touchy, isn't he? About these criticisms.
Because he knows they're all fucking true.
But
because he knows
that they're all true, he'd quit trying to stir it up. Anyway.
Well,
what was your question?
Well, the question related to, and I wasn't too aware of the Shotzi part of it, and I'm looking at it now, some chick, okay. I guess he got upset about people criticizing the fall. I have a quote here that apparently comes from his Saturday night special live stream, otherwise known as It's Saturday and I Don't Want to Watch TV with My Family, so I'm on fucking YouTube talking to you. Here's a quote. I'm not even going to address the criticism for it. It was taking the bump off the top of the cage at Blood and Guts. It was terrifying because I've never done anything like that before. It was not a crash pad that I fell on. There were cardboard boxes that were basically set up across the board.
What?
You fall on them.
What?
And I guess the cardboard kind of softens the blow.
Wait, no, hold on. Put the brakes on there. Screech. Air raid siren.
Yeah, those aren't brakes.
We saw not only the video, but somebody just tweeted out the still frame. The cardboard there were sheets of cardboard that were made to look like the metal rampway, but there was an obvious inflatable crash pad underneath the cardboard sheets. It wasn't the old take a bump in the cardboard boxes and that'll cushion you, which is old as the hills, and Cactus Jack has done that 5,000 times. But it wasn't that. It was a crash pad with cardboard painted to look like the metal sheets on top of it. Let's just get that straight.
Well, let's go back to Chris Jericho's quote here. Where did we leave off? Okay, here we go. It was not a crash pad that I fell on. There were cardboard boxes that were basically set up across the board. You fall on them, and, I guess, the cardboard kind of softens the blow. The piece of plywood over the top that was not even as thick as this book, and I was scared.
That wasn't plywood. It was flapping in the breeze. Remember?
Yeah, but how much time do you think he spends at Home Depot? I really was. Back to being scared. I really was. Because I didn't know what to expect. You know what I mean? What's this going to be like? Then I hit. It was hard. I mean, I really did. The elbow injury is legit. Just so you guys know, it's not a work. It came from that because I hit the side of the stage and then my head missed the back by just a little bit. If you see it, there's a bunch of spotlights and stuff. People that bagged on it can really fuck their ass because it was dangerous.
Really fuck their ass? Is that a common phrase? Every ordinary day phrase, something you find around the house, they can fuck their ass.
I don't think so, but I'm going to make a wish. Chris, go fuck your ass. If it'll keep you off Wednesday nights, go fuck your ass.
What about just get fucked?
That works too.
It's not as unwieldy as they.
It was scary. I was saying prayers before.
Oh.
I was a little bit worried because you never know. It was a legit 15-foot drop. Nesty plunge. You can't see behind you, and you hope for the best. It was something that I thought about all day. No one had to convince me to do it because I knew it was right for the story. But like I said, people that didn't respect the bump really aren't fans. Well, that again. Oh, that's one of his go-to things now. If you don't like what he did, you're not a fan.
If you don't like it because it was so obvious that I was standing there, obvious when I was pushed that I was taking the bump on purpose, and obvious when I fell that it was a prepared landing area for me to do this pre-choreographed bump that looked phony as shit in every instance. But if you don't like that, you're not a fan. I wasn't a fan of the bump, no, because it looked like shit and was phony. It was, and it may very well. And here's the thing. I wouldn't have taken the bump either. You know why? Because it looked phony. Doing that looked phony regardless of how they did it. If you're going to fucking do something like that, take that hip toss off the goddamn top of the cage like old Mick did, or at least drop from the height into a regular ring like I did. But don't fucking cry how dangerous it was when you actually did a movie special effect. Then I've got to fucking be scared and afraid for the health of every stunt man in Hollywood.
People in the business that were kind of bagging on it should know better. Because it's not something you would really want anybody to do because it's dangerous. And it can affect you for your life if it goes wrong.
I didn't want anybody to do it because it looked phony.
You're focusing on how it looked. He's focusing on the danger he felt before he did it.
Okay, well, and here's the thing. If you're going to do something that's dangerous, God damn it, the most important thing is it looks good. I would hate to think that if you're going to do something that has danger, an element of danger that is going to injure you or damage you in some kind of way, that it also turns out to look phony, then you've just wasted that. There's a return on the risk. If you do something that looks really fucking wow and good for the business and holy shit and people will remember. And if you do something that's phony and lackluster and it's also dangerous, I think you've just shit the bed.
Well, that's the story of an angry young man from somewhere in Canada who now torments the United States from Tampa. Chris Jericho. Let's get another question here, Jim.
He went from being the Winnipeg Wonder to the Tampa Torment.